pretty derivative still.
There she is. There she is.
There is a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of a man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations, number 142, where we are exploring all of the Twilight Zone. Today, we're taking a closer look at the Purple Testament and Elegy.
So pay no attention to the title of this video.
Did I? Oh, no. I thought I fixed that. Wait a minute. What's wrong with it? What happened?
It says
on the YouTube side it's okay, but on the StreamYard side on the top it still says the fever in the last flight.
Oops. Well, I don't know. Somebody might be getting the wrong information, so let me fix that. Just real quick.
But on the YouTube side it's fine.
Yeah, I just looked. It's cool. I'm making things difficult and confusing.
No, it's I can only fix it on Rumble itself. So Rumble people are going to have some trouble.
Oh,
well,
no.
You're not making it. Well, maybe you're making things difficult now that I'm having to go to Rumble. Let's see. I think I'm live over there on the Rumble side. Let's edit. And all I have to do is change the name. And where's that save button? There it is. Now I'm done. Sorry about that.
Great.
Save changes.
You should share your screen so we can see what you're doing. No, that's okay. No, that's fine.
Okay. No, I'm not going to do that. But we are going to talk. What we are going to do, though, is talk about the Purple Testament today. But before we do that, I'd like to say hello. I'd like to welcome my panel. Today we have Scotty R37. Hello.
Hey.
And Stone Racket.
Hello there.
How are you doing? Yeah.
I'm doing terrific on this terrific Twilight Zone Tuesday.
Oh, that's great news. And so the Purple Testament first aired on February 12th, 1960. And it was directed by Richard L. Bear, and I will bring up the slides now. Richard L. Bear, and written by Rod Serling. With music by Lucian Morawick. And actually, there's a conductor credit this time. We've got a conductor credit by Lud Gluskin. And someone who actually did not direct this episode, Douglas Hayes, gave Serling the idea for this episode. But he didn't even demand a story by credit. He was happy just coming back and directing.
That's kind of cool.
He kind of gave him the idea, but he did it with the businessman. And Rod Serling made it his own by using his experience in World War II.
Yeah, Douglas Hayes had his idea was an insurance salesman being able to see the fate of his clients. And Serling, of course, took that premise and made a much superior adaptation of that idea.
Yeah, something a little more heartfelt.
Yeah, this is one of my top favorite episodes. It's quite effective, I think, even despite the fact that it's all studio bound. But
I can't tell. You mean we weren't in the Philippines? But
yeah,
and there's lots of
really good episode.
Gunfire, just people talking, and you can hear the gunfire, the war happening actively throughout all the drama scenes. You're thrown right into the war zone, the trench warfare, and you're telling me all of that is stock footage.
Oh yeah, I could tell about the stock footage, but I do have to, raise a glass to the director, just because it's one of those things where you go into a war story, and usually the biggest thing that you have to look at is the war part. But if you have a deft hand at the direction and tension and sound mixing and all of that jazz, all of the other parts of production, it really captures the feeling of it, and right down to the performances. But I
Yeah.
think that this is a very effective episode.
Yeah, it's quite stellar all around. I agree.
That's what brings it up, really, is the performances of the characters. You really believe that they're in these situations. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
Stone Rocket,
definitely.
you said this is one of your favorites. Would you like to read the opening narration or the closing, or both?
I think I'll read. Well,
Go for both, man. Take both.
Okay.
She offered both.
Okay, and then Scotty, you do the elegy. Then you do that
Sure.
whole thing. All right, excellent. That's fair.
All right, I'm going to put that in the chat. Please read our opening narration.
All right. Infantry platoon, U.S. Army, Philippine Islands, 1945. These are the faces of the young men who fight, as if some omniscient painter had mixed a tube of oils that were at one time earth brown, dust gray, blood red, beard black, and fear yellow white. And these men were the models, for this is the province of combat, and these are the faces of war.
And so, obviously, Rod Serling served in World War II as a paratrooper, and so he made this personal, and I think that's why it works so well. There's one interesting trivia. One of my favorite people, Dean Stockwell, was cast in the lead role, but he couldn't show up, unfortunately.
Well, and it's got an interesting cast, and I'm sure Stone Rocket, you're going to be able to help with some of the people. But I was super jazzed because when you see sort of the roll call, these are the men of war, and I was like, I knew that I saw Warren Oates, and I love Warren Oates. I think he's a great actor. I've seen him in a couple of things. Obviously, the one that it tickles my brain the most is from Stripes, but Warren Oates is he's been in so many things, and when he shows up in this, I was happy. But this was the warm surprise in my Tuesday morning was seeing Dick York.
Yeah,
famously from
Yes.
Bewitched.
Yep, this is before Bewitched. This is 4 years before Bewitched, and he will appear in a more lighthearted Twilight Zone episode called "A Penny for Your Thoughts." But yeah, the stellar performance for me is the lead, and that's William Reynolds.
Yes.
He's really effective, and I just don't see Dean Stockwell being able to pull that off as well. But Dean Stockwell was the original choice, but then Richard L. Baer recommended William Reynolds, and they had just completed principal photography on a pilot that they did together, and the name escapes me, but let me consult my book here. But that's why he was recommended, and I'm so glad that he was. The pilot was an MGM TV series called The Islanders, and William Reynolds recalled for interviewer author Tom Weaver, "I remember that I got the part in The Purple Testament as a consequence of another actor, Dean Stockwell, turning it down, and that the director, Dick Baer, then suggested me. I'd worked with Dick at Warner Brothers and done the pilot for the MGM TV series The Islanders with him. I was elated when I got The Purple Testament. It was a go, like the next day. I believe it was the next day. And as you know, I had a lot of dialogue. Rod Serling was great. He was hands-on the set, and kind of gagged around with Dick York and me, keeping people loose. But he was a pretty intense guy. His narration was indicative of the kind of intensity he projected. A chain smoker, a very creative and dynamic kind of guy, obviously and remarkably prolific. And,
That's a great
and I have,
perception on Rod.
yeah, I have a, I have a lot more later on when we get to the real life drama with William Reynolds and director Richard L. Bear involving an airplane. But I'll wait until you're ready for it, Jill.
And I really do love William Reynolds in this role. I don't really know him outside of this, but as Lieutenant Fitzgerald, he's really great. But I have to disagree. I think Dean Stockwell could do it too. So
well, it's such an interesting thing for me and just so I can say my 2 bits about Dean Stockwell, and hopefully we get to say hello to the chat. But
yes, that was going to be right after this.
I discovered Dean Stockwell through Quantum Leap, and I always thought he was just like an impish, affable man, and it wasn't until later that, after seeing parts of Blue Velvet and being like, oh no, this isn't Al, or going back and seeing he was in a Hitchcock movie. Oh no, what was it? It wasn't a hit. He might have been in a Hitchcock, but I know that he was in a movie that was an adaptation of In Cold Blood by Truman Capote, I think. Anyway, and it's just, it's interesting to see Dean Stockwell do, he's such a versatile actor, and he does haunting stares like nobody's business. And so I think he might have been good as Fitz.
Yes, I think so. I agree with you, definitely. But as the story starts, they're returning from a mission. They won the bridge, but it was costly. 12 are wounded and 4 have died. And a soldier reports to Captain Bill Riker, of course, as already mentioned, played by Dick York. The Japanese naval guns are attacking the bridge every 3 minutes, according to the sergeant. And sergeant is played by William. I didn't get his last name.
Mazursky?
Hold on.
Because I know there's a Mazursky in here, and I'm going to need help.
Phipps. Okay. William Phipps is his name. And as you said, we do need to say hello to the chat. I just wanted to get a bit of an introduction started on there, and that was really good. And so I'd like to say hello to Canadian Spider-Man. Good morning to Sigvaldison. Praise to our eldritch god, whom freedom for all is but a button push away.
Jesus is Lord.
Scotty R37 says almost ready. Oh yeah, that's right. Spring break duties. That's right. The children are home, and so that's why I took a little longer than normal to start the show. Gorilla's censored thought says, "Kapla, gotta lurk while I sit an hour waiting for the ads." Oh no, I'm so sorry. The ads are no good. Maybe I should demonetize it for the first while of the stream, so people don't encounter that at the start of the show. That's not good.
No, I say get an ad blocker like I've got.
Sigvaldison says, I had to review the synopsis of the Purple Testament, which I do remember, but definitely not as much as I remember the Elegy. So funny if they had told that. Oh, if they had told Jeremy that they were from the company. Oh, that would have been, yeah, well, anyway, I have a lot of opinions about the second episode about what you just said, but we will get to that after this one. I don't know if I agree with that, but we're definitely going to talk about that soon. Classic, if someone asks if you're a god, you say yes. DJ Play Nice says 11:11. Okay, maybe you have a point there, but we do have to wait a bit before we have that conversation. DJ Play Nice wanted this stream to start at 11:11, and his wish came true. And I think maybe that might be because our departed friend Cardinal Sin had a band called 11:11, and I do like thinking about him. I don't know if that's the reason he wanted it to be that. Maybe just that 11:11 looks cool. I chose Elegy as I was more familiar with it. The Purple Testament was a great episode too, Sid Waldison says. And hello to DJ Knight. Hey, it's Noladoc. Nolodoc's here. Warren Oates, older brother of Helen Oates.
That's a pun.
Yeah. Look out, boy. She'll chew you up or eat you up.
Did you?
No, I didn't know. What I'm trying to say.
Private eyes, they're watching you. Oh, sorry.
Look who's here. It's Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Hi, Penny.
I'm sorry about the long line.
Yeah, standing outside the DMV for 45 minutes. Oh, no. Okay, so, right, you need your real ID to fly. Right, you have to have that little star on it now.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I've got my little star. But Penny, Penny, you should have made an appointment.
Right.
Our DMV, you can make an appointment, so you don't have to sit around forever, and that worked really smooth, and I was able to get my my little real ID star on my driver's license. In case I need to fly. I haven't flown for years, but just in case Yeah.
But if you don't have that little star, do you have a fake ID? Brogu says hello, everyone.
Hey, Brogu.
Hello, Brogu. And Haunting Stairs Like Nobody's Business is the title of the song I'm working on. Oh, you're working on a song? Okay.
Yeah, based on this episode.
Wait a minute. Are you working on a song or never mind? No effing spell check. In an hour waiting? Oh.
No, I'm in HR waiting for an ass chewing over a joke. Yeah.
For a joke.
Oh no. I hope everything's okay. Happy birthday recently, Penny. It was her birthday a couple days ago, a few days ago.
Happy belated.
Happy birthday, Penny.
So, let's see what the company is doing. So, they're discussing the last battle, as I said before. 12 wounded, 4 dead, and Fitz shows up to list the dead. Hibbard, Horton, Morgan, and Levy. And Fitz is short for Lieutenant Fitzgerald, played by William Reynolds, as Stone Racket told us. And he tells the sergeant to call everyone for dinner and coffee. And Captain Riker invites Fitz to his tent to have some Philippine Tupa, which I suppose is some type of alcohol, but I haven't heard that. I've never heard of this particular drink. And you hear more war sounds occurring, and there's a distance. You can tell the distance between Lieutenant Fitzgerald, who knows his men really well, and Captain Riker, who doesn't know them quite as well, and so something unnerving is happening with Fitz. And Riker does know Fitz well, so he can tell he's more upset than normal, and so they have a discussion about it. And the discussion is this. Oh, hey, why don't I have you guys read it? I have the little notes here.
All right. Stone Racket, do you want to be Captain Riker, or do you want to be Lieutenant Fitzgerald?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's just 2 lines right now, but there's going to be more.
Well, what do you feel like doing, Scotty?
I don't know. I feel like you could be Captain Riker.
Okay.
Because I want to be Captain Riker for nothing to do with this episode, just because he's Captain Riker. So it kind of feels a little like best of both worlds.
Makes sense.
It's up to you.
And then, okay, yeah, I can do Captain Riker.
Okay.
Why did you write down the names, Fitz?
Well, we had a weapons check, and I looked into their faces, and those 4 men I looked into 44 faces yesterday morning, and when I got to those 4, there was something special, a light or something. I can't describe it to you. There isn't any description. I looked in their faces, and I knew this was their last day. I knew they were going to get it.
And so that's it. Lieutenant Fitzgerald can now tell who's going to pass away. And he's upset thinking that this is now his fate to know this information. And Captain Riker's in...
That's terrifying.
Especially in this situation. I'm glad it was changed from an insurance salesman.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Riker is concerned. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add that Serling, that's why he got into writing. You know, he was a paratrooper in the Pacific, and as a catharsis, he went into writing. He wrote a lot about his war experiences, but then, fortunately, he started going into other areas, and the rest is history as far as his writing talent. But that's something that he knew very well was war, and that's why I find this episode probably his most effective dealing with that subject as far as within the Twilight Zone series.
They do say to write what you know, but he just has that particular talent of just being able to bring things down to a human level.
Yeah.
Penny said, "Oh yeah, for her birthday, she went to the Texas Roadhouse. That's good."
Oh, cool.
Everybody's making sure she had a good time. And hello to Mars Monkey Max.
Hey.
Yeah, Texas Roadhouse here. It's always so noisy when you go in there. But if you have a birthday, though, the whole staff will sing you happy birthday.
I haven't been there in a while. Do they still litter the floor with peanuts?
The last time I went, it's been a while, but yes, both restaurants that I've been to here and then up north, yeah, it's loud and all kinds of peanuts scattered on the floor and crunch, crunch, crunch. Good. And staff singing and dancing and the music being played really loud. It's kind of irritating, to tell you the truth.
Bread's nice though.
But the food has been fantastic every time I've gone.
Mm-hmm. So Captain Riker's concerned. So we're gonna get to that concern in a bit here. They sing really loud. Penny agrees with you.
Yeah. I have it just a little bit. William Reynolds, that pilot that I read about from my book, The Islanders, that went to series, and that was they did 24 episodes, lasted 1 season, but he's best known for the FBI series.
The FBI, it's just called the FBI series?
No, the series called The FBI. Sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
He was in 161 episodes.
Oh, that's more than just a recurring character. That's a main character almost.
Yeah, he was Special Agent Tom Colby, and then looks like he played 2 other parts in some other episodes, but mostly as Tom Colby, it looks like.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I need to know a lot more of. Are the careers of these actors? Thank you. Captain Riker is concerned.
Hey, I recognize that guy, that medical officer. He should have a 3rd eye on his forehead.
Oh, you're right. He does come back later.
Yeah.
Well, right now he's Captain E.L. Gunther.
Yeah, medical officer.
Played by Barney Phillips, and he's so Captain Riker is informing this hospital, or I don't know what this is, like some base or house or something, that Lieutenant Fitzgerald thinks um, thinks, yeah, right. So Captain Riker's just telling him that there might be something wrong with Lieutenant Fitzgerald. You might want to check him out. So, but Riker does it out of concern. He isn't doing it maliciously or anything.
Now, Serling originally wrote that this makeshift hospital was supposed to be an abandoned schoolhouse they were going to be using, but the director and the production staff had a different idea for that.
Yeah, they end up using the same set as, well, a similar set to, well, it looks like one of the parlors out in the front, the foyer. It looks like another episode we saw.
Oh, the 16 millimeter shrine.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll see those stairs again the very next episode.
Oh, good. I like those stairs. Well, here's Smitty, played by Michael Van Dever. And and we have Fitz visiting him and making sure everything's okay with him, that he's comfortable and has everything he needs, and that trying to encourage him, saying as soon as you're healed up, you get to go home. But unfortunately, Fitz sees the light shine on him, and
Do you have that slide?
Yes, and it's coming up right here. You can see his face change so drastically.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Well, and that's the great thing about the performance, because he does, like in the previous scene with Riker being like, he's a really good soldier, he's one of the best, I can't believe, like, and I want him to be better because we're doing great work, kind of thing. And you sort of see the only flash of that here when he's talking to Smith in reassurance and whatnot, and you can see how he would command respect from his subordinates or people within his platoon. And then when he does finally see that sort of ghostly flash, like, it is perfectly turn on a dime, perfect change of perspective. It's great. Hey, Monkey Max. Mars Monkey Max. I apologize. I don't know which emphasis to put.
And it doesn't take too long either before. And upon seeing this, though, first, Fitz faints and falls to the floor very dramatically. A corporal comes up to help him. And unfortunately, they see that Smitty has already passed away.
Oh, man.
Well, and I think that also adds a lot to the escalation of this. I don't want to say affliction, but I suppose it is the escalation of it is that when he looked into the faces of the people he was going into battle with, it was like, oh, okay, I can see who's going to die in battle. And now it's just gone to, oh yeah, no, if I look at people, I can see if they're going to die at all, ever. This sucks.
There's no limit to it now.
Yeah.
He thought maybe it might just be limited to the battlefield, but it's not.
Yeah, he's William Reynolds is so good in this role. He's just such a haunted man, and he says so much with his eyes.
He does. That's right. A great actor can make you feel something without them ever saying anything.
Indeed, yeah.
And he just wants Captain Riker to believe him. And someone who believes him even less is Captain Gunther.
Oh, Barney?
Barney, yeah. He's trying to tell him that this ability is odd. And then so Fitz says that's not odd. It's odd when we survive for over a month and without any deaths, or walk for so many miles and then we don't get any blisters. And so anyway, I have the line here if anybody wants to read it, but should have known I'd have it. But Captain Gunther just thinks Fritz has fritzed. But it's really hitting him hard. It's that acting you're talking about. It's here.
Well, and he's really good. Like, I think he does portray that desperation, but still maintaining the discipline and need to move forward.
Yeah.
Also, like, there's a certain level of pride and fortitude that you get with some of the best performances in World War II movies, where you have to delicately balance the fact that you're suffering through something while also maintaining a steely exterior.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true. Yes, they have to be professional, even when they'd rather lay all their emotions out, but they know how to control themselves. So back at the front lines, they're getting ready for another mission and discussing strategy against the Filipino soldiers who are practicing guerrilla warfare.
And they're sort of
so
like
they
assisting.
Yeah. They have to knock out the Japanese guns. Oh wait.
Oh yeah, I did want to mention that without highlighting it too much, but some of the dialogue in here, a little culturally insensitive for a 21st century teleplay. You wouldn't be able to flat out say it unless you were in a Tarantino movie. So there were certain things that were still sort of acceptable at the time of broadcast, original broadcast.
Oh wait. Oh, were the Filipinos helping against the?
Oh, the
Japanese?
Filipinos were helping, but there was a short form for
you.
Japanese that was,
Well, I'm not repeating that.
No, neither am I. Neither am I.
But it was just. I don't think it was meant to be mean. It was just a punctuated version. It depends on how you say it, and they weren't saying it in a bad way here. But we're not going to say it that way on this broadcast.
I think that they were saying it in a negative way simply because one of the ways that you do encourage soldiers to go into battle is to dehumanize the enemy. And so you come up with things like that. Yeah. Like look at Vietnam or you can say Jerry in regards to Germans because it's not that bad, but like that's not a term of endearment. That is a point of F those guys.
I wish that they would have had like a Filipino soldier on, like just one of them help, like to show me more clearly that they were helping, because I didn't really understand that part.
Oh yeah, they were helping.
I know, I definitely believe you, but it would have been cool to show that a little more clearly.
No doubt.
And so let me reread that again to say it correctly. They're getting ready for another mission, discussing the strategy that they're using with help from the Filipino soldiers who are practicing guerrilla warfare. They have to knock out the Japanese guns. And so Fitz tells Riker that he shouldn't go because he's going to die. He sees it. He sees it on his face too. But after the company clears.
Well, and there is a beautiful moment, and it's like I wish I could explain it to you. And that was back when we were at the foot of the stairs that you adore. And it's like, I don't want you to explain it to me. I just want you to believe me. And so when this happens, and then we have that ghostly sort of the pall of death washing over Riker's face. Riker believes him to the point where he's like, well, I'm going to leave these here. I don't want them to get lost. And
that's what I was getting. Family. That's what I was getting to.
Sure. Go ahead, lady.
Yes. Yeah. When I say he doesn't believe him, he's because he's the captain. He wants to carry on his mission. He doesn't want to stop it because of this. And he tells Fitz to get his platoon together. He either has the option of doing that or saying he's unfit and take a 3-week leave. See, when I say things that are not actually true, look, it's because they're true. When I'm watching it, I'm taking notes precisely as I'm watching the episode. So at that moment, it looks like Riker doesn't believe him. And then we cut to that scene that you're talking to him, despite claiming to Fitz that he doesn't believe him. You know, part of him does, because he does take off that wedding ring and sets his family photos on the table. And okay. And then the episode becomes instantly more heart-wrenching because you see his little baby and his bigger brother.
Like it's also whether or not Riker believes him as the commanding officer. You can't be like, oh, well, you're right, I won't go. Like, he has no option here. He is the CO, and he does have to.
Yeah, exactly. His options are to, give up and run away and abandon his crew, or deal with it and stick with what is going to help in the long run. Needs a the mini kind of thing.
Yeah. Mars Monkey Max. It wasn't his family. He stole those pictures from another soldier. Actually, no, they came with the frame, and so he just decided to keep the pictures.
There are some people who do that, who buy picture frames but just leave. I've seen it before, where they just leave people who are clearly not their family in the picture frame.
And hello to Tetrarch of Apathy.
Oh yes, hello Tetrarch of Apathy. And so they're going off. But the platoon, so Fritz does get his platoon together. They're anxious. They've heard about his new ability. And they want him to tell them who is going to die. No one else is glowing. It was just Riker. And so the mission happens. And let's see what's coming up. We get more stock footage of the war.
War never changes.
But I think it works because we're not really focused on the. Oh, okay. We're not really focused on the actual battle. Deej Odyssey in the chat. Hello. He says, dang it, sorry, Jill. Got stuck in phone calls with doctors. Oh, well, no, your health comes first, Deej. You could always come another time, or you're always welcome. I just wanted, maybe next week will be even more fun. It's the Monsters of Maple Street next week. Or you could, you're in I put you in the Twitter chat. If you see episodes that you like, I'll try to telegraph the next episodes earlier than normal, so you can decide when you want to show up. Yeah, he owns the Twilight Zone. He's got all the episodes. So you see an episode you like, and you got the time to watch the episodes, come on in. So, yes, next week, I am a monster on Maple Street. There we go. Hey, you know what? This happened for a reason.
I was actually one of the aliens when my 7th grade English teacher had us read that teleplay.
Oh, your teachers were awesome.
Yeah, we did Star Trek and Twilight Zone. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, though, she was one of those English teachers that succumbed to, okay, now we're going to study a Beatles song and analyze it to death.
Well, you say teacher, not professor, so this was high school?
This was junior high. This is 7th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never got to read teleplays or
it was
screenplays.
There was a Scholastic magazine. I cannot remember the name of it, but they would have different articles of interest, students, and then the last half of it would be a teleplay. And we did Journey to Babel.
Oh, that's
Star
great.
Trek episode, and as I said, Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. We did that one, so it was a really cool magazine, and she just took advantage of it sometimes. And those two stand out for me. I know we did some other
Cool.
ones, but those two stand out for in my memory banks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really cast this episode really well with all the soldiers' faces. They just did a stellar job, because I'm like, yeah, these guys are from World War II.
Definitely. So we have Lieutenant Colonel played by S. John Lawner, and he's come to discuss and congratulate Fitz on the success. They had a very successful mission. It went so well because the big buried Japanese guns had been taken out. The Air Force was helping, Filipinos were helping, and the job of the ground troops was made easier. They only had to worry about the sniper fire. But Fitz has to give him the sad news that they did lose Captain Riker. And the lieutenant colonel says, "Oh, that's a pity. He was a good man. You were good friends, weren't you, Fitzgerald? So much for Mrs. Riker's lovely wedding. 7 happy years. 2 fine sons. Man, war stinks."
I found that to be an odd line. Is that because so much for her happy wedding in terms of the entire marriage?
Yeah, I thought it was a little strange too. It's just like, they had maybe they didn't have a whole lot of time together after their wedding.
Right.
And maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because it's 45. And so.
Right.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the subdued performance.
I do too.
Again, still being manly, but still being like, they're there, boy. They're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just as good as this line.
There's nothing good in war except its ending.
There you go. Yeah.
And
hey, Old Man Bird is here.
Oh, Old Man Bird is here. That's great. Hello, Old Man Bird. Old Man Bird asks DJ Knight, "Who's our celebrity crush of the week today?" And DJ Knight says, "Jerry Ryan." That's a good choice.
Not a bad choice at all.
Also Sentai Ranger Johnny is here. He says,
hey!
I wonder if they were what? Oh, DJ Odyssey says, "I would have destroyed the teacher on the Beatles."
Yeah, she had us analyze Eleanor Rigby, and Mrs. Burnett in 8th grade had us analyze the boxer from Simon and Garfunkel.
Huh.
So it continued on, but in 9th grade, Mr. Carlson didn't have us analyze any songs.
You went to a very interesting school.
Yeah, we did. We did cover the Odyssey in 9th grade with Mr. Carlson.
That's normal stuff.
And Shakespeare, and some of the students a few years after me, when I was working at the grocery store, they weren't. I asked them, well, didn't you study some of the Shakespeare's plays in junior high? No. So it's like, what the heck's going on? It's like lousy teachers this guy had, apparently. I don't know, but
apparently
I was very lucky.
Everybody...
I had a lot of really great teachers that we got to get all the classics.
Yeah, my teacher had us do the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Yeah, the Iliad. It's really weird. The Odyssey I did in 9th grade, but the Iliad I did in 12th grade. So it was a little backwards.
Yeah.
So, but it was funny because the Odyssey, I was familiar with the Odyssey because of the Kirk Douglas film Ulysses, this Italian film, and I had seen that. And I go, hey, I know this story.
And I think that liking Homer is very important to whether or not you enjoy "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" Because it's like, oh, this is
That's a lot of fun. Yeah, if you know your Homer, it's a riot.
It is. But Captain Gunther is ordering Fitz to take a couple of weeks off at the division. They're going to check him out medically. And he doesn't complain about this. In fact, he seems kind of relieved. But unfortunately, his face he sees it glow.
Yeah, in the mirror. Oh,
There you
excellent.
go.
There you go. Excellent, Jill.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I was waiting for, Twilight Zone. I called it halfway through the episode, and I'm like, he's going to find a mirror, isn't he? And I was like,
yes, I did too. I also called it. I really felt like that was going to happen, but I didn't. I thought it was going to be before a battle. I didn't know it was just going to be him going to get some medical treatment.
But again, with the setup and payoff of it all, of him going to visit Smitty in the hospital and then him being told to go back to division so that he can, sort of chill out for a bit. Like even the possibility of salvation and safety at the end of everything. It's like, you're going to get patched up and you'll be going home. Won't that be swell, Smitty? And it's like, you got to go back to division and you'll be fine. You'll be right as rain in 3 weeks and we'll see what's going on after that. All right. I mean, it's like, yeah, there's no escape. We're still in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
Yeah. The men didn't have, well, we'll get to it in just a second after I got to read a super chat.
Yeah.
So this is a good kind of interruption. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Old Man Bird. I've got to find your chat. There it is. Old Man Bird for $9.99 says, Jerry Ryan, good choice indeed, DJ Knight. Hail Anti-Derivative Jill, Scotty R37, and Stone Racket, and his kitties.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, Harpo and Chico got a shout out too. That is sweet.
They both enjoy Twilight Zone.
Oh, good. They don't disagree on that one.
No, they really enjoy watching it. But they say the series needs more cats. They say that about everything.
Well, that gives me an idea of what video to play.
Tell him he is a pretty cat. And a good cat.
I will feed him.
There we go.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Spot is a good cat and a pretty cat.
He is.
There was one. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there was one thing that I was curious about because, like, he sees the glow in the mirror, and then it falls and he breaks it, and I was like, did he die because of the 7 years of bad luck? But I always thought that like shaving mirrors or the personal reflectors that were issued during World War II would have been made out of metal, just because that they wouldn't have been. I don't know how high you can polish up a piece of metal to make it so that you can see a reflection to shave, but I didn't think that they would have been glass.
Well, this is just something. This isn't a military issue. This is just something that they happened upon and are utilizing, I guess. I don't know.
That wouldn't make sense.
Also, also rank has its privileges. Maybe
true.
you just had a better shaving mirror. It's very effective, though. I'm glad that they went with this.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense too, because he also the officers seem to have more access to alcohol.
Oh, yeah, that helps.
Old Man Bird says, going now. Not a Twilight Zone fan. Have fun, fellow Jill fans. Well, thanks for,
my goodness,
dropping by.
Not a Twilight Zone fan.
Hey,
Oh,
not
dear.
everybody. Not everybody's
Thanks.
going to love the Twilight Zone.
Thanks for your support, yo, because like
Yeah.
that's kind of like me swinging by a live stream, and well, I guess this has happened recently. I haven't financially supported with Jill except for my membership, but it's just like, so you guys are talking about Lord of the Rings, huh? All right, here's $10. I'm out. It's like paying to not go into a club.
Yeah. But yeah, we appreciate it, Old Man Bird. And thanks for the shout out, my kitties.
But what about the puppies, says Mars Monkey Max. None of us have any puppies. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
just
except
have
for
2
Baxter.
kitties.
There is Baxter. You can say hi
He's
to
not
Baxter.
mine.
Oh, Baxter. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's Baxter.
Oh yeah, there's Baxter. Yeah, the one thing I wish they had the very, very ending, and they drive off and then we hear the explosion. I wish they hadn't done that. I just wish they had left the where he says we got, what did he say? We have a 4-hour drive or 3-hour drive, and then Fitz says, I doubt it.
Yeah.
And
they
you
just-
wanted it to cut to black there.
And they just drive off, and then Serling narration, or I just thought it was like, okay, that close. They had mines that close to the camp. Are you kidding me?
That was kind of close. Yeah.
It's just
Agreed.
it's just I don't know. That just always rubs me the wrong way. But I guess they just want to make it clear. Yes, he just bought it, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but like I think that it's okay. So there has to be the confirmation that he dies, because you cannot escape your fate in the Twilight Zone. But also, I liked the sort of steely reserve, and you hear an explosion, and it's clearly an explosion, and someone says, "Is that thunder?" And it's almost like desensitized, and he's like, "No, it sounded like an explosion." And then he looks back at the men who are just sort of convalescing and recovering, because the one guy is playing his mouth organ with his one hand, and it's like, no, you're right. It was probably just thunder. Again, putting that sort of "don't worry, everything's fine" kind of mentality behind the leadership. Conflict.
Yeah,
So
they bury their heads in the sand for that.
Yeah.
But
Well.
I have a certain narrative in my notes, so I wanted
Sure.
to make sure to get through that, because I also wanted to address what I was feeling as I was watching it. And when I saw this, I wondered if he was going to try to change his fate or just accept it. And so, of course, it looks like he just accepts it.
Yeah, but that's like the classic Star Trek thing. It's like, so does that mean that we don't go back to division, or does that mean we stay? And it's like, well, how do we know we're not going to die if we stay? What if that's the thing that's going to alter our fate?
Jill is
right.
Laura.
Exactly. That's what I thought too. That's exactly what I thought too. Hold on. That he just, well, since we're ready, punch to the end. Let me get to the end. He just goes on the ride that's going to be the death of him. I had that idea too, Scotty, that maybe he'll run off into panic and that was what was going to kill him. But when you see that the driver glows bright too, he's going to be hit with one of those mines in the road in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Warren Oates.
Even when it's doubly clear,
it's all Warren Oates' fault.
Yeah. He's not such a good driver as he says he is. So even when it's very clear what the cause of death is going to be, he still doesn't try to change his fate. And as Stone Racket says, as they're driving off, the soldiers are resting. One is playing a harmonica, and they're disturbed by a very loud explosion. And, that's the end. That fits. And they all pretend they only heard thunder. And so then we need Stone Racket to read the closing and then tell us what he wanted to add.
From William Shakespeare, Richard III, a small excerpt. The line reads, he has come to open the Purple Testament of bleeding war. And for Lieutenant William Fitzgerald, A Company, 1st Platoon, the testament is closed. Lieutenant Fitzgerald has found the Twilight Zone. And a little correction, that line from Shakespeare is from Richard II, not Richard III.
I forgive him for that one.
Yeah, I forgive him. I wanted to read an excerpt of a real life drama that happened with William Reynolds and director Richard L. Baer. After the Purple Testament, Dick and I were in Jamaica doing background shots for the Islanders, shots of running through a jungle and swimming in a lagoon and landing the Grumman Goose seaplane in various places to intercut with the stuff that we would do on the MGM backlot. We were flying back to the United States on the 12th of February, 1960, the day that the Purple Testament was scheduled to run. We were in level flight, I don't know how high, maybe 1,000 feet, and everything was cool, and I guess the pilot switched from one gas tank to the other, and the engines stopped. All of a sudden, there was silence, except the sound of diving toward the water, which we would see through the open cockpit door. The Grumman Goose is not terribly airworthy, absent power. Director Richard L. Baer recalled, I explained to the studio that if a small crew and I went to Jamaica to film scenic shots rather than use stage sets for much of the picture, the pilot would impress the networks. They approved, and a few of us went south. Filming was completed for the Islanders, so I was relatively surprised that they gave me the go-ahead because a trip to Jamaica for, I guess it was about 5 of us, was costly for the studio, an unnecessary expense, they felt, but they went for it. And then Reynolds goes on, we had time to buckle up, and I presume the pilot was trying to get some kind of glide angle so he could land belly up. Apparently he succeeded, and the goose split right in the middle. One moment I was buckled in my seat, and the next I was still in my seat, but I was spinning underwater. I had been thrown clear of the fuselage. I could see light above me, sunlight, so I unbuckled and swam up to the surface, a few miles off the coast of Jamaica.
Yeah, and didn't he break his legs and swim?
He had a broken ankle, but in Zakri's book, he has Richard L. Baer, I think, quoted as saying, we had 3 broken legs between us, and they were swimming on their backs. And Richard L. Baer says, you know what's airing tonight? And Reynolds goes, yeah, the Purple Testament. And then the director goes, whatever you do, don't look at my face. Don't look me in the face. But what's interesting is Zakri says that the network preempted the Purple Testament because word got back to the production that their plane had gone down and there was no other report. And so for to spare the family, they preempted it, but that is not true. The Purple Testament, as Jill showed in her first slide, aired on February 12th, 1960. So even in my book, it has William Reynolds relating that, they preempted it because they hadn't heard. And it's like, well, no, that's not true.
Well, yeah, sometimes the creators or the actors say something and it's not true.
Yeah, it could be they were talking about that, but then they got a report that, oh, nope, they're okay. Were just picked up. And they I forgot. Can I read just a little bit more?
Yes.
Okay. At the little hospital in Nato Bay, this woman in a flower dress stitched my hand. This is William Reynolds. My left hand was pretty much like raw meat, and she was stitching it up like a seamstress, like she was stitching up a dress. And their medication was cognac and morphine. Also, they taped up my ribs, but apparently they had flipped my x-rays because when I got back to the States and went to a doctor, he said they taped up the wrong side. So much for medicine down there, but they were marvelous, friendly, great people.
Wow.
That's so
Yeah, I
interesting.
didn't.
I'm always fascinated by those kinds of injuries where it's like, well, we can't do anything, so we'll tape it up. And it's like, what? I don't even know what you're doing. Like with splints and regular bone breakages, but with ribs, it's just like, try not to put too much pressure on your ribs.
Yeah.
It's like when I broke my toe, and people were like, so don't walk on it, is their advice. And it's like, thanks, doc. That's where we are in the 21st century for medicine, huh? Don't do it. Okay.
Well, this is
just don't walk. Just don't walk, Scotty.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Well, I don't mention my husband a whole lot, but there was one time where he also broke part of his foot, and he created a mold out of I don't know, some molding stuff, Instamorph stuff, and out of his foot to he made his own cast basically.
Oh, huh. He's like Houdini.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, during the water torture escape, Houdini snapped his ankle, but the show must go on. He just concocted a brace and continued.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a tough guy.
Okay. Before we get to the next episode, I had a few chats here. Deej says, I live in the Twilight Zone. It also tells Scotty, you can come by and drop a 10 and I will truffle shuffle. There's the price for that.
I will consider it, sir. I will consider it. It's just a matter of whether or not I want to see the truffle shuffle, but we'll see.
Yeah, that what Scotty was talking about when he dropped a 10 spot during a stream that he didn't care for, or the subject he didn't care for. I did the same thing for you, Jill. I think I gifted some memberships, though, if I remember right. But when you guys were covering, now I forgot. It's one of the you were covering one of the Trek films.
Must have been a TNG film. If you didn't
it was a TNG film, and I was being a little obnoxious in the chat, but then I just went, well, okay, enough of this. I'll gift some memberships
and gift some memberships and get out of here,
and then get out of town.
Perfect plan.
But this goes for anybody. Deej has been streaming more lately, so if you want to drop by his channel, you're free to tip him for a truffle.
Do it for a truffle shuffle, yo.
Where is your sergeant, soldier? Blown up, sir.
What kind of training, son? Army training.
Well, I'm glad you knew what was going on.
Go Toads.
Oh no, Penny says she's still standing outside the DMV and her legs are killing her.
Oh no. They don't just give you a ticket and you can sit down until you're.
Yeah, that's what they do. When you don't have an appointment, you go in, you get a ticket, and you sit down. They have lots of seats. I'm surprised.
Or maybe it's a line for the ticket.
Yeah, it's a line to get in the building, I think is what she said earlier, but I'm not sure.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh,
yeah.
I'm so sorry. Because then once you get in and get your ticket, then you're in your second line. But at least in the second line, you get to sit down.
Yeah,
wait for your number to be called.
The last time I got my license renewed, I did it online, but the time before that, the DMV was in a completely different location. And so when I just renewed it last fall, it was the first time I was out at the new location, and it's huge. It's like 3 times bigger than what it was, and it's an old location.
So this is to Deej Odyssey. Gorilla's censored thought says, "Screw the truffle shuffle. We want the twerking in rainbow unicorn costume." How much is that one, Deej?
I guess that's what Gorilla wants. Me, I want nothing to do with that.
I'm starting to understand why his thoughts have been censored.
Yeah.
I kid, Gorilla.
A great couple of chats from Mars Monkey Max, where he's talking about the car that runs over the mine. I'm a great driver. Boosh, bam, crack, snarl, bing, bong, ching, wee. And then later on, when Stone Racket talks about the plane crash, he said, "I'm a great pilot." More crashing sounds.
Well, the pilot did land the plane on its belly in the water, but the thing split in two, right down the middle, split in half, I should say. But yeah, the pilot was severely injured, and they did lose one person of the 5 passengers.
Oh no!
Yeah, he died later in the hospital.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's terrible. Speaking of terrible, here's the next episode.
I don't think it's that bad. I don't think that's great.
This is not one of my favorites. And when our local PBS station started showing the Twilight Zone in the mid-'70s, this is the episode they started with. And so I watched them going, what? Oh, it's Twilight Zone's got to be better than this.
Oh, this was your first episode of the Twilight?
This was, well, not really. The one that I do remember when it was still on is from the 5th season, but I was familiar with some of the other episodes, but I had not seen them. But this is our local PBS station started with this episode as the first episode instead of Where Is Everybody? They started with this for some reason. It was just ridiculous because I'm going this. So I've had I've had in for this episode since that time in 77, I think, is when they started showing it.
All right.
And
I want to say hello to Matt G.
Oh, Matt G. Did he give me some flapjacks?
He threw out some towels.
He's Tao.
Tao. Some people think Tao is superior to pie.
Ah, there you go. But it's not superior to flapjacks.
You don't have to. You don't have to use the 2 pi r. You can just do pi. You could just do r and times tau, and then you don't even need the 2, because tau is double pi.
Double pie. All right. I will have 2 slices of huckleberry pie, please.
There we go.
And I'm requesting that of Norma Jennings at the Double R Diner.
Dick Valdison says, "I saw how many Twilight Zones thanks to the New Year Twilight Zone marathons years ago." Yeah, that's how I watched them too. Lots of marathons.
Yeah,
so
years.
I missed.
Yeah, decades before that, I watched it on my local PBS station.
Yes,
when I had cable, yeah, that was I think, wasn't it TBS that did that, or
I'm not sure about cable.
I'm trying to think.
But PBS, I remember.
Yeah.
And that's why I've missed so many episodes, because most of my Twilight Zone experiences are from marathons, and the TV doesn't play all the episodes ever.
Yeah, there's some that they twice the pie, half the sugar.
Was that a Twilight Zone, or not a Twilight Zone, a Twin Peaks Double R?
Yeah, the Double R Diner. Norma Jennings played by Peggy Lipton. The huckleberry pie was a specialty, and have you had huckleberry pie, Scotty?
I have not, but I've had a damn fine cup of coffee.
Yeah, huckleberry pie. When I went to Montana, they just had huckleberries everywhere, and I had a huckleberry shake and huckleberry pie as often as I could. So it's a more, let's say, it's a smoother blueberry, kind of blueberry, a sophisticated blueberry.
I'm gonna have to seek it out.
Yeah, it's just delicious.
Oh, Gorilla's censored thoughts actually agrees with you. He says the next episode is so mentally challenged American.
American. Yeah,
Wow. Okay, well, you got some support here.
yeah,
Well, let me get this started then.
yeah.
Elegy first aired on February 19th, 1960. The story by credit goes to Charles Beaumont, and he also wrote the teleplay. So the title refers to a somber song or poem expressing sorrow for someone who has died. And this one was directed by Douglas Hayes with music by Nathan Van Cleve, who's done a Twilight episode before, so he's come back. And then we have the opening narration, which I will put in the private chat. Patty R37 will read it for us.
Yeah. The time is the day after tomorrow. The place, a far corner of the universe. The cast of characters, 3 men lost amongst the stars. 3 men sharing the common urgency of all men lost. They're looking for home. And in a moment, they'll find home. Not a home that is a place to be seen, but a strange, unexplainable experience to be felt.
Mm-hmm. And so this ship is landing. And so we see the forbidden planet lights again. Oh no, there's my start button.
Yeah, it looks like the ship from Destination Moon and the spacesuits, the same thing.
Destination Moon. I never saw Destination Moon.
1950. So. Yeah, 1950. One of the very first sci-fi movies with dealing with it's dealing with going to the moon.
Well,
but yeah, these uniforms were used many times, even by Abbott and Costello.
Well, there you go. Well, yes, they do seem to be regular fighter jet pilot uniforms, but it's fine. They're astronauts. They're astronauts. They're not necessarily going to Earth, but the atmosphere is Earth-like.
Yet again,
95 parts oxygen, 78.09 nitrogen, and Captain James Webber says, "I don't get it. That's air gravity, Unit 1." And so they're surprised that the conditions are the same to Earth, even though they're millions of miles away from Earth. And
how many millions of miles?
655 million miles, which is about as far away as Saturn.
Approximately. So it's like, where are they?
Where are they? Well, they could be on an asteroid near Saturn. Why not? No, there's only one thing that is a problem with that story, and which we'll see soon, is that it's a binary star system. Where did that other sun come from?
Oh, well, have you seen 2010, the year we make contact?
Actually, I still haven't.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Okay, well, people who have seen that movie will get the joke, but I no spoilers.
Okay. Well, it's my fault I haven't seen it. So if it gets spoiled, it's okay.
Well, I don't want to spoil it.
All right. Fair enough.
And stop the chat because somebody will probably spoil it in the chat. So just stop it.
No, they're fine.
Now, one thing, when you have actors and you go, okay, stand real still. Jeanette, Janoy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Janoy Schwark, I think is how you pronounce his name. He was a director of many segments of the Night Gallery series. and he did a segment based on an adaptation by Rod Serling, A Death in the Family. And they had to have actors who were they were corpses. And he had the actors stand super still, but he overcranked the camera. So he had a higher frame rate, and he had plenty of footage and it makes them look stock still when you put it back down to 24 frames a second. So they look absolutely stock still. And that's a technique that maybe they should have done when they were focusing on the
When was
exhibit.
that? When did that come out?
That was in 71.
Okay, that's but that's after this episode. So
Yeah, but that's a clever way of doing it, because
it is very
use
clever.
you speed up the footage, and then when you slow it down, even if the actors move just a little bit, it wouldn't show up with the high speed photography.
And I knew that was going to be a contention of the episode where, oh no, you can
Yeah.
see the people who are not supposed to be moving in the background.
Yeah, he didn't.
But you know what? I'm able to
Douglas Hayes
overlook it.
Yeah, Douglas Hayes wanted actual actors. He didn't want, dummies, mannequins, that kind of thing. And it's ironic because one of the next episodes where he had to have a similar situation with actors standing still. No, he went with mannequins. But
Well, because of his experience here. And so he didn't have a good experience with this, but I understand and I like the fact that he used real people, even though it didn't work quite so well.
we have to give it a break.
Well, I give it a break because it makes it a lot creepier.
Yeah,
honestly.
But the episode that I'm referring to that Douglas Hayes directed later is The After Hours, which has incredible mannequins.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I was expecting this to have mannequins too, but
Yeah.
but before they even get off their ship, I like that Captain Weber warns that the instruments could be wrong. This reminds me of Galaxy Quest. Is there air? You don't know.
You don't know.
But
it's like, where are those super big diving type helmets that it's supposed to go with these suits? Those big round.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for, the big helmets to come out.
The big honking helmets, and it's like, no, it looks like everything it's breathable.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. They just ignore his warning.
What's incredible, Jill, it looks just like Earth. How can it be?
It looks so much like Earth, and actually one of the actual problems of this episode that I have is that the ending is telegraphed right away, because this is very clearly, when you get a close-up of this dog, a taxidermied dog, and that is so creepy.
Yeah,
I don't like taxidermy that much.
No, and I do not understand people who have lost their pets having that done. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, and speaking to Gorilla's comment about being mentally challenged, they're like, "Here, boy." They're like acting like it's a real dog, even though it's not doing
that's where I went. Okay, what the heck am I watching here? This is not Rod Serling excellence. Who's this Charles Beaumont guy?
Well, we find out they're from the future because they see the tractor as an ancient artifact. There's our binary star system, right in our solar system. Did you know we have an extra sun?
I see a binary Eric.
Binary Erics?
Eric's, yeah.
Eric's keeps us safe.
Yes. And it's good. It's good that you do that, Jill.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gavin Blackburn does
what?
You maniacs. You stuffed the dog. Damn you. God damn you all to hell.
Yep, that's one of the best cinematic endings, and we can thank Rod Serling for that.
Yep.
Man. Gavin
Ooh, you're
Blackburn.
coming in
glad to
hot,
see you.
Scotty.
I'm coming in hot.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
Oh, your sound was perfect earlier. Go back to what you had.
Okay. How's that? Is that better?
It sounds the same.
Really? All right. Well, let's see what I can do. That's so strange.
No,
I've changed nothing.
No, it's yeah, yeah, you sound okay now. Yeah.
It's mildly better.
Yeah, I don't know, it sounded like you're real close to your mic or before
You
or
had
something. I don't know.
an industrial fan blowing next to you.
Oh.
No, that was me breathing heavily. Anyway, moving on.
Wow, you like this
It makes
episode
you
that
sound-
much, Scotty?
It's too much for me. It's too much
Too
for my
much,
Canadian
man.
heart. You know,
So-
and I didn't recognize any of the actors in here, but for some reason, Pete, I thought was Nicole Williamson from.
No.
I know it isn't because I
But
waited.
yeah,
for the credits,
you can see
he
a
looks like him.
resemblance. You can see
Yeah.
a resemblance. So we'll just say it's his older brother.
Yes.
Yeah, there's Pete on the left there. And then we have the Professor Myers on the right. I made sure to know their names because it was difficult to tell their names in this episode. It was kind of like playing a game.
Yeah.
But so everyone's supposed to be frozen solid, and I'm sure the effect is supposed to be that everybody's supposed to look like a wax sculpture or like that dog that we saw at the beginning. Which it really would be super creepy if they fortunately you can't taxidermy humans, thank heavens. And well, I guess you can. Ancient Egyptians
can.
did it.
Yeah.
It's not a thing we do anymore. I guess people do. Well, it just wouldn't be respectful to the body to have embalmed people hanging around.
Well, it's just like, you know how they when heads of state pass away and then they're placed in repose so that the population can come and sort of pay their last respects to the fearless leader or whatever. Like they do it sometimes.
Right. They do.
And so
well, that's North Korea. Oh my God. Yeah.
No, but even like when you like, I'm saying it poorly, but instead of like taxidermying and completely preserving a person so that you can hang them in the corner of your room, they do some preparations for open caskets and such.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Don't they? Is
Yes, that's
Lenin
true.
is Lenin still?
Well, and that's what I was trying to say. Is you
yeah,
can do
Vladimir
it.
Lenin in Russia, isn't he still kind of on display?
I don't know. I've never been to Russia.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I think he's he's preserved and encased.
Right.
At least he used to be.
I want to say Ho Chi Minh is also that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I hadn't heard
so.
that. I hadn't heard that one. Yeah.
Let's look up and see how many dead people are still being presented as if they're museum pieces.
Yeah, so Gorilla Censored Thought says you can taxidermy humans, you just can't let anyone see it, and that's right. That's especially not for a television show.
Yeah, you'll have to watch that segment of Night Gallery.
Yeah, so this is a large percentage of the show was devoted to having this happen. They call it a tableau. I don't know what a tableau is. You keep saying this word, but I've never really.
It's more like a mural, but a tableau, I guess, can be.
Oh, a mural. Okay, like a diorama.
Something like that, but a tableau, I think, can involve, the third dimension.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And yes, it is immediately obvious they're not using dummies. They use real people. And no matter how still a person tries to be, this is the Mark Scott Zicree book. To minimize the awareness of these, Hayes used a sleight of hand. It says, if you'll notice on Elegy, when you see those characters, the camera is almost always in movement, moving backwards and forwards and panning and so forth. Despite this, you can still see the actors moving.
I have a
And
little. Oh, go ahead, Jill.
and then no, I was just gonna say we're gonna see a frozen fisherman.
I just have
So
a little bit about the extras.
go for it.
This is from my book, The Twilight Zone: Unlocking the Door to a Television Classic by Martin Grams Jr. The numerous actors playing the roles of the still figures were courtesy of a casting call. Most of the actors were paid $22.05 for their appearance, and only one actor, Luc Saucier, was used for more than one day's work. While there is no paperwork to suggest a connection, more than half of the names on the casting call sheet were extras in Around the World in 80 Days from 1956. So I thought that was unusual, that Around the World in 80 Days, famous movie from 1956, that most of the extras were from also in that film. I thought, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, the same set of extras.
Yeah,
That
well,
is
a great number of them were also extras in that movie. It's like, and they only got $22.05. Why not $25?
well, the inflation calculator is $200, so 200
Ooh,
is a little better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just stand
So,
around.
just
Don't
to
move.
stand around.
as Sig Balduson says in the chat, as of March 11th, 2025, Vladimir Lenin's embalmed body remains on public display in his mausoleum on Moscow's Red Square. Also from Grok 3 is our research assistant, digital research assistant. Thank you, Sig Balduson. Says, yes, as of March 11th, 2025, Mao Zedong, his body is still on display in Beijing. And according to TripAdvisor, of all places, Ho Chi Minh, his body is placed in a glass box on public display in his marble mausoleum. So, yep, there are places where you can go and check out dead bodies, much like Elegy.
Oh no, it fell over.
Oh no!
Yeah, they knocked it over. Knocked over the fisherman. The caretaker's gonna have to come fix that. And then there's the marching band. I like how the music is heard, but of course no one's moving.
Gosh, how is that done, Jill?
They play the music and nobody moves.
Oh, so it's on the soundtrack. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going to Disneyland and it's just playing.
Oh.
Yeah, they're moving. They're moving, but you just gotta pretend they're not moving.
Right.
And a crowd of people are there celebrating the new mayor, or at least they look like they are.
Oh, there's those stairs again, Jill.
Yeah. Oh wait, okay. So people were asking about the actors' names. I have them here. So first we have, so this is Kirby. Peter Kirby is played by Don Dubbin, and this is the Professor Kurt Myers, played by Jeff Morrow, and then Kevin Hagen plays Captain James Weber. This one in the middle, the captain. So there you go. And Mars Monkey Max says, I used to work at Toys R Us a long time ago, and they were always playing that song, Who Let the Dogs Out?
Who? And the answer is me. I did it.
Well, if you let them out, you have to collect them.
I let the dogs back in. They just had to go pee. It's fine.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So there's Celebrating here.
So
Oh,
can
what am I doing?
we break down how ridiculous this premise is and how I don't understand anything that's going on, even with the ridiculous explanation at the end?
Oh, not yet.
All right, no spoilers from this thing from 1960.
Yeah, it's just that I just started. The episode just
All
started.
right.
It sounds like you just want to plow through it and not care. So
Yeah,
No,
Jeff,
it's not
chill
that I
out.
don't care. It's just that there are, like, we are dealing with a situation where even when we get an explanation,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Okay, we'll get there.
You know what?
So-
You know what's better? You know what? This episode is not as good as.
Oh, time enough at last.
That's right. That's right. Last time you got really mad at me because I was like, this episode's
I
better
wasn't-
than that
I'm not-
episode. And now I can
It's just
say the
that
opposite.
you always use it as a punching bag. It's just like,
Yeah, and this
Yeah,
time
Jeff-
it's
something
not.
else.
Jeff Morrow, he appeared in the Universal sci-fi movie from 1955, This Island Earth,
Mm-mm.
as one of the Metalunans, and he also was in The Creature Walks Among Us, the third creature from the Black Lagoon movie in that trilogy.
Oh,
So he's got
who's that?
the actor Jeff Morrow, who plays
Jeff Morrow.
the
Okay.
professor, or whatever
Right.
the
Professor
Yeah.
Myers. Yes.
Professor Myers. Yeah, Kurt Myers. He was in The Creature Walks Among Us and This Island Earth, both Universal science fiction movies.
Oh, very cool.
That's how I know him, anyway.
So Professor Kurt Myers decides they could just all be hallucinating, but also he has an interesting theory that I liked that I wish that this was. It could be that time travel itself is suspended here, or time may have, in a sense, have speeded up for us or slowed down for them. You mean they might actually be moving? And so they were considering that. It reminded me of a Star Trek episode that where such a thing does occur, where the time is going by faster for some and slower for others, and the time dilation. But
Timescape?
yeah, timescape. That's it.
Okay.
So I thought this might be that. I liked that idea, but then we can't really verify that because the clock, it has no hands.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so they decide to separate, and so they go and then they'll meet in an hour. So
Yeah. They decide to go and investigate.
they're gonna go
Right.
explore.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure.
So we have the captain here, and he finds a gambling parlor. And I was curious if he was going to try to drink the beer, but I guess it's smart of him not to drink a strange substance on a place where he doesn't know where it is. Which is, I'm glad he
Doesn't
didn't.
stop him later.
It doesn't stop him later. But that would have been creepy and scary if he had did that, and then he became frozen too, and then his friends are all looking for him, and they find him in the parlor, like sitting on the couch, and he's not moving, and that might have been interesting.
Oh, that's not a bad call. Sigvaldason in the chat says Star Trek the original series episode Wink of an Eye, where the sped up people seem like insects. Oh yeah, the buzzing.
Very good. That's right.
Yep.
Okay, you earned yourself this one then. If I can find it.
He's pretty. Can I keep him?
Yes, that one. And I forget what I call it.
Oh, isn't it super chat thank yous?
Yes.
I don't like looking around the grocery store of media because I end up messing.
I want to keep this one a long time. He's pretty.
I'm always happy when I play a video. All right. So then Professor Myers goes into this hotel, I guess, the Royal Crest.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks in on a man and a woman having a candlelit date, dancing to a live performance of Violetus. And the music is in real time, but no one is moving once again. The soundtrack is playing for us.
Yeah. I guess. Is it not playing for the people within the world?
I don't think so. I don't think it's playing. It can't be playing for them in the real world. It has to
No,
just
but they
be for
do.
us.
It does say, because they say,
You know
"Don't
what?
you hear
It
that?
is.
You hear music.
Yeah, you're
There's a
right. Oh, you're
band."
right. You're right. You're right. You're right. They do hear it. But that is weird. That is what throws me off, because if they're going really slow, you wouldn't hear the music in that way. But that's why they're not that should have been a clue to these geniuses that they're not really moving very slowly.
What a derogatory thing you should have been a clue to these geniuses. These aren't
No,
scientists. These are hot rodders.
I don't really hate this episode, but it's kind of, I can understand that part is kind of obvious.
I don't hate it. It's atmospheric. I'm okay with the performances. I'm just saying, when we get to the explanation at the end, and I'm like, nope.
Yes. We'll get there. We're actually almost there. I don't have a lot of sites for this.
And you know what the best part about this episode is, Jill?
Mm.
You don't actually have to watch the episode, because everybody is already still.
Yeah, it's all my slides. This is exactly like watching the episode. It's almost like it's in moment. So then we have Pete walking in on a beauty pageant.
Yeah. Is it though? Is it a beauty pageant?
No, you know what? It might not be a beauty pageant. It might be who has the best personality pageant.
No, I can't say it. I can't say it. You won't let me spoil it.
Oh wait. Oh, that's right. This is what she's always wanted. This is her dream.
Yes.
And so, yeah. Okay. So that was another thing. Definitely. Okay. So, but, well, I guess you can spoil it if you want. So she's always wanted to win it is a beauty pageant, and she's always wanted to win one. And here she is winning one.
But then Pete goes up, and I don't want to disparage the physicality of the winner, Your Majesty, as she is referred to. But Pete's like, no doubt, you're the prettiest one here. And I'm like, Pete, no one's been able to hear you. You don't have to be nice.
Well, he's just upset that no one's moving. He's just really, it's kind of like the very first episode, but of course the first episode was like, where is everybody? It's kind of a quiet place where nobody's around, even though everybody seems to be around. And so he's talking to them anyway.
Well, but that's also, I think that's a case of loneliness or investigation. You can't get a response from people who are petrified unless you engage with them to see if they'll respond.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being cast in the beauty pageant? And it's like, you walk in and you see casting, and you're like, oh, I'm going to be the queen of the beauty pageant. This is very, it's like the guy, like there was an old television show, and it was called Jake and the Fat Man. And so there was a guy who walks in, and he's like, so am I going to be playing Jake? And the casting director's like, no.
And
it's like, I've been trying to lose weight. Why are you yelling at me? Anyway, here's God or whatever. Robot's own ballet.
Yes, yeah, he's going to be, yeah, that's right. That's telegraphed for them. Jeremy's going to be our robot, yes. So the astronauts all meet back up, and they're walking around in the neighborhood. But nobody knows he's a robot yet, so just pretend you don't know that.
Yes.
So, and they decide, oh, hey, we can have whatever house we want. So they're picking houses, and Jeremy announces his presence, and they're all shocked that somebody can move. And so then he's like, okay, so they're naturally hesitant to follow this strange man, and the dialogue gets really weird from this point onward. And so I'm still trying to figure out the mystery of it. This was my first time watching, as I said. I didn't remember this episode anyway. Is this some kind of time slowing theme park? Is something I put in my notes. But just like, what? I was confused. And he says we built it for somebody else, and then at the last moment he decided he wanted to slay a dragon. So they have other sections for
Like Westworld.
Yeah, it's like yeah. It's like it's Westworld, but you're the attraction. You're the museum piece.
No.
If they allowed people to visit without not without also becoming a part of it also. Like you can't come and go from this place. You
All right.
come and you stay.
Then it's not really a cemetery, is it?
It is a cemetery after he murders you.
Well, no, but
As you
people
say.
go visit a cemetery so that they can pay their respects, remember their past
Yeah.
loved ones.
Yeah, no, you can't visit this place without becoming part of it unless you escape him somehow. And
But it's
so
not
I
a
guess now
cemetery.
it's one where you can't escape. It's a roach motel. It's more like a roach motel.
Is it Hotel California? You can check in anytime you want, but you can never leave.
Yeah. But at this point we're not supposed to know that. We're still thinking, oh, is this some kind of tangible matrix where time slows down and you get to live out all these fantasies, but you're moving so slowly. Anybody who visits doesn't see that time passing by slowly. And so I guess the idea being that you could see, when I didn't know what the answer was, when I thought maybe they were moving really slowly, which is what I was hoping. I was hoping that the time was slowed down so that you could live out all these lifetimes slowed down, and then when you come out of it, you're you haven't aged actually or something. I don't know what I was thinking, but it didn't make any sense in my
That's
mind.
okay. Neither does this.
I was trying to make something up in my head, but it wasn't working. And so and Captain Weber says we were on a routine geological mission. We ran into a meteorite storm. Some of our equipment was knocked out. We got lost. Now that was 6 months ago. We saw this asteroid and we landed. Our fuel is gone. We've got to stay here. Another thing I thought was if they mentioned something about resources of creature comforts not being so much on Earth anymore, because of course in Earth they mentioned there was an atomic war in 1985, and most of the Earth's surface, Jeremy says, most of the Earth's surface was destroyed. Professor Meyer says, and it's taken us 200 years to pick up the pieces. So then I thought, maybe does the slowing down of time help with resource stretching out the resources? But that didn't make any sense either. I was still trying to piece this together. So Pete finally demands to know where they are. Jeremy says it's a cemetery. And so it's like, oh, they're already dead, and they just have to pick out their fantasy. Because I guess now I'm wondering, is this heaven? No, because they're the ones moving around in a normal time frame, and the dead people look frozen. So maybe I was thinking it was also like that episode where the dead people, the dead person doesn't accept they're dead yet, so they're still at normal time frame, and then when they pick their fantasy, they will slow down too. So I was thinking that, and I was trying to think, well, okay, maybe this is Jeremy guy. He seems kind of creepy, but maybe he's really an angel or something. And then Jeremy proposes a toast to everlasting peace with a drink called Liebfroh-Milch, a style of semi-sweet white German wine. And the astronauts listen to Jeremy explain to them that they could have whatever fantasy they want, but they still don't understand.
Him Jeremy?
His name is Jeremy.
I thought it was Mr. Wickwire.
Yeah, Jeremy Wickwire.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway,
Oh, no. I just missed the Jeremy part. You're not wrong. I was just clarifying.
so they all have the same. They all want the same thing. They want to go back to their ship and head home. They don't have enough fuel to do that, though.
Right.
But okay, so what I was thinking, he's just going to give them a fantasy of that. And then they find
Yes.
out they're from the Happy Glades mortuary, but he thinks that they are, but they're not. And then he says, you see, the management hit upon a scheme as a service to those who could afford it. This little asteroid where we would recreate the exact conditions under which our dear departed could be most happy. And so one man had always wanted to be a mayor, and of course, as we saw, that lady always wanted to win a beauty pageant.
contest. Yeah.
And so there, and not everyone you see are dead. That he says right now, some are imitations of people. And Professor Meyer says this is the place where your dreams come true after you stop dreaming. And I think that Captain Weber asked the wrong question. He asks why instead of how. And why does heaven require capitalism to operate? And I was like, this isn't adding up at all. Germany says they set up this place on they couldn't set up this place on Earth because Earth in 2185 doesn't know peace. But that's confusing too, because then how did they advance and figure out space travel? So then they find out he's older than any human ought to be. So he isn't human. And then he's also not an angel. He says he's a scientific device. He's a robot, as we said. He's been off for 200 years. And only now do they all realize that they're going to be part of his exhibit or whatever it is, and they've been poisoned, and they're not getting an antidote. Even now, the entrenifying fluid is coursing through your veins.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have
Pete exclaiming, "I told you!"
Yeah, and Jeremy Wickwire is played by Cecil Kellaway as a robot caretaker. He's been in such things as the companion says, Married a Witch, The Postman Always Rings Twice, and Harvey. Plus,
he was the doctor in Harvey. That's great.
Yeah, right.
The Luck of the Irish, and guess who's coming to dinner?
Klingons?
Yes.
The Stanley Kramer directed film from '67.
No, I was making a Star Trek 6 reference because...
Yeah, right. Guess who's coming to dinner?
To dinner.
So Jeremy Wickwire is the artificial intelligence. He captures humans. It's kind of like
he violates Isaac Asimov's robotic laws.
That's right.
I don't even know if he's a robot.
He's basically a robot. Well, he's some kind of device. And what is
a
device?
He's
an android.
It just doesn't make a lick of sense. He's supposed to be receiving, departed ones. And these 3 astronauts are obviously not that. They're not clients. They're not family of clients. Makes no freaking sense.
It makes no sense if you think that the robot was telling the truth. But maybe the robot was just lying, and they're like, I don't know for sure that it is. I think somebody else is behind this robot, and not necessarily a company.
Yeah, well,
because who would pay for this?
Rich people from
really?
200 years prior.
I want to be embalmed and make it look like I'm doing what I want to do. That's kind
on this asteroid.
On this asteroid, is that something somebody would?
600. What was it? 600 and some million miles from Earth. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But is that something anybody would want to?
Yeah, right.
I don't think I don't know anybody who wants.
Once again, it's this asteroid fetish that Twilight Zone has. Like, well, we're gonna hey, we're gonna crash land on this asteroid that has it has an atmosphere and it's like Earth, and oh, we're going to do it again. And the first one is the best, of course, is it's prison. That was in the Lonely, and it's like they should have dropped the asteroid thing with that episode after that episode.
Well,
But
Jeremy's reasoning is because you are here and you are men, and while there are men, there can be no peace. And so that tells me everything that we heard from Wickwire is a lie,
Well,
and there is no company. There's some force behind Wickwire, or Wickwire himself has decided he needs to eradicate all humans, like Bender from Futurama.
or something like that.
So, okay, so apparently, if we're going to believe Jeremy, he said that this place was established in 1975, 10 years before the atomic holocaust, okay? Was there space travel at that time? We do not know. Who went there? We do not know. Who established this asteroid? We do not know. So that's
1970, then 1975 has to. Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, go ahead. Continue. That's 210 years before.
Right, right.
This is set in 2185.
Yes. Anyway, so then we get to the planet or the asteroid, and everyone is frozen. And obviously, there are people who are the people are happy about how they're frozen. You get the fisherman, the farmer, the mayor man, and beauty pageant queen. So those are examples of humans who have been allowed to perpetually exist in a moment that they have always wanted. Are they alive or are they dead? Are they reimagining their perfect moment over and over again for eternity, or are they dead?
Dead.
So they're dead. So what does it matter if one is, what does it matter if some of the people are dead and some of them are replicas? Like the replicas
they're
are dead.
all dead.
The people are dead. They're all dead.
Everybody's dead.
So what do you do here, Jeremy? And you say you're shut down, but you, after you poisoned our astronauts, you're dusting them. So that means that you do have a duty function that you perform, but you just said that you turn off for 200. Like you did, so you I guess you lied. So what exactly?
If he lied about that, I basically don't believe anything he said. He's lying about everything.
So why is it a human representation? Why does it represent Earth at different periods of time?
To lure people in to the fantasy of it. The astronauts were getting nostalgic for history. The professor was a history buff, and he was really taken with this time and this sort of.
So when do they say that in the episode? When do they say that in terms of the representation of that?
Several times he says,
what they say,
I like this time. They say that, I like this time period. This was nice. And one of them says, I would like it if it were real. And he rings the bell.
And even the professor says, oh, this is charming. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. He does. So there is some sort of, I don't know, psychic connection with the Westworld asteroid that they get to die and be there. But even then, like their eyes are like, just focusing on our astronaut crew, they're awake, their eyes are open, and they're mildly bemused, like they're smiling. It seems like they're okay. So I think that there has to be some animus, like some sort of animation. They have to be experiencing something. And I mean this for all the people there, if they are going to go through the process of making, replicas. So, which brings us back to this whole thing.
Sigvaldason says it is possible that some of what Wickwire is saying is true, because the pharaohs would have done it in a heartbeat in terms of wanting to die in a certain pose and be mummified. So that's one perspective. Sort of like in Logan's Run, where that one bot would freeze escaping runners. Oh.
Yes, Box. I am Box. It's my job to freeze you.
And plankton from the sea.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And this is the point where Sigvaldason also said this would be the point where they would go, yes, we are part of that company. That would be great. I wish they would have tried that. just to call him on his bluff, to see if he was really lying or not about this company. That is the one problem I do have with this episode. Where is that company? Who is that company? Why is it real, or did he just make it up to trick
Well,
since what he's saying isn't true? They don't actually get to live out their fantasies. They're just
and I've mentioned
stuff.
several times that a lot of the time when you're watching a Twilight Zone episode is you're waiting to find out what the twist, what the moral, what the O. Henry is. And with this one, it's just, oh, okay, we want to make humans happy in their final rest. But humans cannot be happy, or there can be no peace with humans. So we make them rest. Like that's it. It just doesn't slide up with me. It doesn't work for me.
That's why I think that's why my theory is that it's not true. There is nobody is choosing this. They're being executed and put on display
For who?
by whoever is behind the idea that humans are causing too much trouble and you got to get rid of them.
So who? Rod
So
Serling
this cold robot just decides to genocide the humans. I don't know.
So anyway, this isn't written by Rod Serling, so I'm okay with it
No.
because as soon as the
That's right,
credits
sure was
rolled,
bummed.
I was like, "Oh, this isn't very good." Oh, it's not Rod Serling. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's that Beaumont guy.
Yeah, that Beaumont guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Serling.
anyway, before you continue, Scotty, we forgot to read the ending. That's not the right one. Hold on, don't read that.
I won't.
The closing narration is coming up. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna put some spaces between. Okay, read this, please.
Kirby, Weber, and Myers. 3 men lost. They shared a common wish, a simple one, really. They wanted to be aboard their ship headed for home. And fate, a laughing fate, a practical jokester with a smile that stretched across the stars, saw to it as they got their wish with just one reservation. The wish came true, but only in the Twilight Zone. Yeah, sure. Great. Super.
Yeah, super. Yeah,
what a
to
tale.
paraphrase Serling, he said, I don't know what point in the production of the series, whether it was probably after the first season, he said a third of our episodes are things we can be proud of, a third are passable, and another third are dogs. For me, in my humble opinion, this is one of the dogs.
That's why he chose that still at the end for the end of the episode. The still of the little dog at the farm. But that's my problem with the episode. What's the deal with the dog? If the humans are the evil ones and they must all be destroyed by this robot, why mummify that poor dog? What did he do?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's just
I guess maybe one of them must have brought their dog with them. And
makes
and they're just
no
like,
sense.
Just throw him on the farm.
Yeah.
But also we're gonna have some episodes next time too. So I'll read the previews for next week.
Hey, that's I can see it, Jill. I can see the preview.
Oh, would you like to read it since I put it on?
Oh no, you go right ahead, Jill. That's your duty.
Oh, wait. Anyway, preview for next week. The first one is next week. I try to settle an argument to the effect that I'm not at my best when writing scripts for women. Miss Vera Miles takes my side in a most unusual and unique story we call Mirror Image. I hope to see next week you in your living room and Miss Vera Miles and the rest of us in the Twilight Zone. That's cute. Then the next promo is for next week also. Next week on the Twilight Zone, we put you in front on a front porch. Summer evening. Tree-lined street. Typical small town. And then we pull the rug out from under your feet and we throw a nightmare at you. Claude Atkins, Jack Weston, and Barry Atwater, are your neighbors. Just at that moment when the monsters are due on Maple Street. Don't chicken out. See you next week. And so those are our promos for the next episodes for next Tuesday.
Great.
And yeah.
I'm sorry that I had to go away. I had to go buy a pinata, beat the fuck out of it, and then scream into a pillow.
Oh. Does that make you feel better? Well, and Stone Racket, as you were away, was just saying that Sterling thinks that this wasn't a good episode either.
Great.
No.
I'm in good company.
Oh, no,
Oh, wait.
no,
Who
no,
was
you
it?
misunderstood. I'm sorry. Let me be, it's my fault. I wasn't clear enough. I said overall, I was paraphrasing a general comment made by Rod Serling concerning
He
first
wasn't
season.
specifically
He said-
pointing out this one.
He said a third of the episodes are, things we can be very proud of. A third are passable, and another third are dogs. And I said, in my very humble opinion.
Oh, you said this as a dog.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so I'm paraphrasing Rod Serling about the overall, a third of this, a third of that, But in my opinion, in Stone Racket's very humble opinion, Elegy is one of the dogs, no pun intended.
Well,
because there's a dog. But I forgot to read something about the Purple Testament, and we'll get to that after Scotty or whatever, Jill.
I just want to summarize. I just want to summarize because I
Okay.
know that
Yeah,
you just
go
said
right
it.
ahead.
But like again, it's like pizza, it's like sex, even a bad episode of the Twilight Zone is still pretty good. The production is amazing, the direction is good. I think the performances are engaging, but it's just sort of, it lets the air out of the episode when I find out what it was all about, and then I don't know what it was all about, and it's like, what, people bad? Is that what that's what I had to watch? Okay. And so there could be no peace without people.
It's like vengeful robot.
Yeah. It was just an angry, cold, vengeful robot.
Yeah, but it makes no sense.
And that's why
The only sense it makes is it's to deceive the viewer until the quote twist ending unquote.
Yeah.
That's
And
all
so
it
that's
is.
why-
It's a very highly contrived, in my humble opinion. Charles Beaumont let us down with this one.
I think some of the story is missing. I think something else is behind the robot, and it's not some company that embalms you in the way that you want.
Yeah.
And so then
Yeah, go ahead, Jill.
I wanted to read the chat. Tetrarch of Apathy said, I'm sure that Elegy was on Rod's dog list too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Sig Valdison says, I took that bot for what he claimed to be. There is no reason why humans would land on that asteroid.
Unless they were from the company.
Right.
I mean,
And
what's the
yeah, that
exact
makes sense.
what's the exact line of
if
dialogue?
he's
What's
being
the
true,
exact
yeah.
line of dialogue when he asks them about that or whatever it was? When Jeremy
Yeah.
asks them if they are from, is that right? That he asks them if they're from the company or something like that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he does. And
Okay,
they're confused.
Yeah, so you're saying that Jeremy's even lying about that in your theory?
Yes, I think I think that's true, but Sigvaldison doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there actually is a company, but it's like, I don't know.
It just seems like a weird company for so many people to want. It's
like
want this.
this whole episode's weird. It's just makes no sense. But anyway,
what was the name of the company? Happy Glades. I
Happy
thought you were from Happy Glades when you arrived.
Happy
But by your
Glades.
behavior, I could see that you couldn't be. And so as soon as he realized they're not from the company, he's like, "Yay, let's destroy you." But so then if given that we're supposed to believe the robot that there is a Happy Glades company, then yes, he's not. I don't think it's the directive of Happy Glades to exterminate people, and
Yeah.
just to embalm the ones who want to be put on some kind of weird grave above ground where they appear to be doing what they want to do.
Delightful.
He says the world's greatest mortuary. At least that's what it used to be. I guess maybe it doesn't exist. Yeah, it is confusing. Whatever. The tetrarch of apathy. Yeah, rich people are strange, says Sigvaldison. I suppose. I don't know. Tetrarch of apathy says their society rebuilt, and now they're doing extraplanetary geological research. People are inherently unpeaceful. Yeah, that tracks. They have money to enact their own fantasies that peasants couldn't do, but they're dead. They can't enjoy the fantasy. I don't get it.
But that's the thing. That's the only thing that would have tied it all together. Like they do say, it's like, but I will explain everything, but you have to tell me something first. I need information from you. What do you want more than anything? And they're all like, we want to be on our ship going home. And it's like, oh, okay, that's easy. And then if there is some, if you've come to this asteroid, then I am afraid, gentlemen, that you have expired. And the only solace that we can offer you is that you will exist for eternity in your fondest desire. And then Pete can be like, my fondest desire is to not die. Oh, I'm afraid it's too late for that. Like there has to be just a little something where it's like, we're going to give you paradise and the only thing you have to pay is your life. That would have been more interesting than you dead.
Yeah, it would have been. That's what I wanted. I wanted something like that where they did have the power to make that happen somehow. And so maybe you're dying of something, but if the time is going slower, you're not dying so fast. But I don't know, something. But Sigvaldison agrees with you. The astronauts couldn't leave. They would be disturbing the dead. So the bot did what it had to do. Okay, so that's don't panic. The Hitchhiker's Guide would be handy for this episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well.
It's weird. It's a weird episode. But we'll have more Twilight Zone. That's a good thing. There's so much more.
Is.
And we had a poll. This, usually the poll is 50-50, but this one is steamroller.
Yeah.
Landslide winner. Purple Testament. We can end the poll. It's pretty obvious who wins.
But I think it was
votes.
Wasn't it Sigvaldison who said that this was the episode that they were most familiar with, and so Elegy got elevated?
Yeah, that's
Sigvaldison does like it. Yes, this is true.
Then different strokes to move the world.
Definitely.
Speaking of which, I forgot there was a viewer response to the Purple Testament back in 1960 that Serling responded to. Is it all right if I read that now?
Definitely.
Okay. After viewing this episode, Loring Fisk in Los Angeles mailed a letter to Serling dated February 12th, telling the playwright, "This is the poorest excuse for a story I have seen in months." The letter also suggested Serling was making good on a promise for an old war buddy, perhaps suffering from a hangover, and suggested Serling change the name of the episode to Much Ado About Nothing. On February 25th, Serling drafted a reply. "I regret we were unable to please. Of the several hundred letters received on the Purple Testament, yours was in the distinct minority, though I must say none of the other letters, pro or con, came even remotely close to the hysteria of yours. Why not Robert Taylor's The Detectives? They're on at the same time, and I rather imagine they would please you more.
Oh, that's spicy.
Yeah, that's that. I thought that was. I'm sorry I didn't read that when we were covering
Well,
the
that's
first
okay.
episode, but
That
I
the first episode was a lot of fun to talk about.
yeah. Oh, that was that is one of my top favorites.
Yeah, that episode made me cry.
Oh,
And I saw,
wow. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
very
seeing
very effective.
very effective on me because of the
Uh-huh.
baby. Well, children
Oh,
always
yeah.
get to me.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah.
He'll never know that baby.
That's
It's
true.
obvious.
That's true.
And his older
And
son isn't that old.
yeah,
He'll
and so
barely
his
remember
his
him.
son was maybe just 1 year old when he entered the service and he went
Mhm.
overseas. So it's yeah.
Yeah, just with pictures. Pictures tell 1,000
But
words.
but don't worry, Jill. Riker will come back and he'll be married to a witch.
Oh, which? Oh, so he
Dick York.
remarries.
Yeah, Dick York. in
So
in the Bewitched
okay.
series that started in '64.
Well, and that works out.
But Dick York comes back in A Penny for Your Thoughts, which is one of the whimsical episodes.
I can't wait to get to it. I would like a whimsical Twilight Zone episode. We need one after these two, which are kind of both of them. One was a good depressing one, and one was a bad depressing
was a
one.
bad yeah. But next week's is not a whimsical one. The monsters are due on Maple Street. And then what was the other episode? Oh yeah, Mirror Image.
Mirror Image.
Yeah, which is that's an interesting one because it's another from the real life of Rod Serling. He gets inspired to write that episode.
Yeah, and he knows that he needs help writing it, and so he goes out to look for it. That's good.
Well, it's let's not talk about it now. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next time. Tetrarch of Apathy says, well, can you read this from Tetrarch of Apathy, Stone Racket?
Okay. He's communicating to Sigvaldsson. That combined with possibly lacking the resources to sustain them does sound like the rationale of the caretaker's limited programming. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's just it's like Box from Logan's Run. It's my job to freeze you.
Yeah, it was just his job to embalm, and an embalming robot is gonna embalm.
Have you seen Logan's Run, Jill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not in a while.
Roscoe Lee Brown portrayed Box. And that's even though he's in it for such a short period, he's very memorable.
I was in my early 20s watching Logan's Run, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I saw
for me to visit Carousel.
Yeah, I saw that brand new, and that wasn't quite the movie that we needed. And then the following year, we got Star Wars, which is the film we needed. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a different. It is a certain divide in the history of science fiction films, much in the same way that there's before 2001 and after 2001. There's before Forbidden Planet and after Forbidden Planet.
Yeah,
Star Wars was the one that just sort of that was a complete paradigm shift in science fiction, science fantasy storytelling.
Yeah, you got these huge milestone films. The first for me would be The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is the first Class A budget science fiction film from a major studio. And then the next one Universal had their attempt with This Island Earth, but it was eclipsed by Forbidden Planet the following year. Because that one was, like you said, a paradigm shift.
Oh, and of course, Forbidden Planet is an undeniable touchstone in the reason we have Star Trek.
Yeah, it's definitely inspired Roddenberry. And you could easily adapt it into a Star Trek episode.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love that Robbie the robot. He'll make some cameos in the Twilight Zone. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, he's a wonderful science fiction icon.
He has his own IMDb page.
Oh, cool.
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I have on my Blu-ray of Forbidden Planet, there's also the follow-up movie that he did for MGM called The Invisible Boy, which
I haven't seen that.
It is what it is. It's just but
Well,
at least
and if it has Robbie.
It has Robbie in it, so
I'll watch anything with that guy in it.
yeah, it's in glorious black and white. So
And Swift -1 reminds you to hit the like.
and he's
That's
got
always good advice.
a painter's what do you call those now?
Oh, I don't
Painter's
know.
palette.
I just
a palette, right?
That's
Yeah,
it.
painter's palette.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say the thing that Bob Ross uses.
Yeah. And the happy little trees.
Mhm. Well, I didn't know there was a Wi-Fi signal emojis. That's new to me too. And well, that's all we had to share today for the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who decided to hang out with us today.
Yeah.
In just a moment, so I can pull up the. Actually, what does it do? I've been looking at my bots lately. I want to fix my bots. So we're gonna have a shore leave tomorrow at the same time as today, and we're gonna have a shore leave tomorrow because on Thursday and Friday I'm taking off for spring break. Let's see if this does something. I don't remember. I haven't used these in a while. See, that's not good. I need to fix that. My updated one is much better.
So Thursday and Friday, you're going to have some fun with the family.
Yes, that's right. Those are going to be days specifically for the family.
Sweet.
Day off of work. Kids are off of school. We're going to do things.
Yeah.
Go do something.
So tomorrow, a shore leave.
Yeah, so tomorrow is going to be a shore leave, and I might be playing with some robots tomorrow. We'll see.
Oh,
because I'm really obviously anybody can talk about whatever they want. I'm just I'm just really distracted by this robot. I want to learn about it.
I would like to share some of the recent stuff that I've shared with you on Discord.
Oh yeah, you can share that tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Sweet.
Perfect. That's perfect. Rather than hide it away in this Twilight Zone review, where people are coming to listen to the Twilight Zone. Although
yeah, exactly.
Some ends of this show does turn into a mini shore leave, depending on
it goes off on tangents because
feel.
Yeah, me being an oldie Olsen, that's all I do is go on tangents. And
Yeah,
sometimes I lose my way and I need help getting back.
Here, the road's over here. Yeah, you're picking daisies. All right. I got my links now. All right, Scotty R37. Could you tell us what you're doing, what's coming up for you?
Well, I'm gonna first things first, as soon as we finish this stream, I'm gonna rewatch Elegy. And then what is it? Tomorrow we are going to have the triumphant return of Hump Day Happy Hour over on Cinema Gulp. And we're going to be talking about Well, John from Cinema Gulp, his birthday. It's his birthday, and there's going to be much celebrating. And we're talking about our favorite movies from each of the decades that we have existed within. And so that'll be fun. Then Thursday, we are finally, after 5 weeks of talking about The Matrix, we are going to review the final film in the Matrix saga, Matrix Resurrections. I've never seen it yet. And so I'm excited to find
sorry.
out. You know what? I'm curious. Even if it's bad, I enjoy watching new things. And so I hope to keep an open mind. I don't know. We'll see. But that's going to be...
Neil Patrick Harris is good in it.
That's it. It's so weird. It's weird to think about Neil Patrick Harris being in a Matrix movie.
You mean Doogie Howser's in a Matrix movie?
Barney.
Yes.
Barney from How I Met Your Mother. So new movies, new experiences. I'll see how I respond to that. But that's on Thursday, and then after that, I don't know. We'll see. We'll continue on to the Twilight Zone next week, and also I'll be here tomorrow, most likely.
Yay! Hopefully. And then we have Stone Racket. Thank you so much, Stone Racket, for everything you add to the stories that we're telling about the Twilight Zone. And
you're most welcome, Jill.
It's great to get closer to these stories and feel a little more knowledgeable about something that I already love. So let me know what is that you want to share with the rest of the internet.
Oh wow, I'm one crazy cat. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter there, as Jill has put up on screen there. And then I'm also on the Blu-ray.com forums, where my two cats are quite the celebrities. I haven't posted too much of late, but I have a few Blu-ray purchases that I always post, and if I can get my cats to pose next to them, that always inspires me to post on the forums, because they want to see my cats, and if I don't post my cats, there are several people that get upset. So I have to, lately Chico has been very uncooperative. He actually runs away when I have my Blu-rays out, and it's like for some reason he doesn't want to cooperate. So I've had to make up some stories to cover for that. And the last post I did, I just had a picture of my two cats double teaming me on my lap, as a way of having a picture of my kitties. But seems like Harpo's the only one I can get to model next to my or to pose next to my my Blu-rays. But
the other one is being more of a diva for right now.
For some reason, I don't know. I mean, he used to take a few tries with him when I first started doing it, but then he started to relax and not mind it so much. But now he actually runs in the next room. So
wow.
So I have to retrain him. I guess I have to tempt him with treats.
Oh yeah, clicker training.
Basically, yeah. If you pose, if you sit here for a little bit so I can get a picture, you get a treat. But I'll have to do that. I'm sure.
Definitely. Well, hopefully that works out.
Yeah.
And so also thanks to the chat. The chat, wouldn't have been as great without you guys. Especially Sigvaldison was a real help here, providing a different perspective from mine in the chat, and I liked it very much. It was very good, and I think if they did, that was a good moment where, if they did pretend to be from the company and the company was real, which I guess it is in the scope of the episode, then maybe they would have been able to get away with it. Oh no, we just need some fuel. Robot, where's the fuel? Maybe the robot knew where some fuel was.
Yeah, let's rewrite the episode.
Yeah, okay, let's get to work on that now. Um,
Every time I hear the company, I always think the CIA, because that's a slang term for the
well,
CIA.
in that respect, you only have to rewrite the last 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then you can make better. So thank you. Also, thank you for Gorilla Censor's Thoughts, who says, "I'm out of here." Yeah, you were good too. You were fun. Always a good time with Tetrarch of Apathy. Great show. Looking forward to tomorrow and next week. I'm not highlighting that one from Gorilla making unsubstantiated claims about Bob Ross, who was an absolute sweetheart and not what he says, not what Gorilla says in the chat that he is. There, I'll put it on the screen so people from the future aren't confused. He's not that.
Oh, come on.
Hello, File 13. He says, do a ton of squats. Why he says that, I must have missed, but I'm so glad to see you.
Maybe Gorilla needs to do that to as punishment for his the chat that you highlighted just a little bit ago.
Oh, there you go. Instead of push-ups, we're asking for squats. It's not as intensive as a push-up, so that's not so bad. Mars Monkey Max says it was fun. Yeah, you made it more
Yay.
fun for us by
Yeah.
being here. Thank you.
Yeah, the chat is great.
Mars Monkey Max has some good jokes. I don't read them all. Like I'm like, what? Really? I don't know. Is it true? Is it true? Do rich people eat dogs?
Oh, no.
I don't know if that's true.
No, they want their dogs to be with them.
Yeah. And Jacob Alderson and Watcher X. Oh no, I didn't see you there. Don't panic.
Yeah, you read something about the Hitchhiker's Guide before.
I did,
think,
but I think
yeah.
I missed that Watcher X was here.
Oh, okay.
Gavin Blackburn says the AI run amok. Yeah, that's what happened with that. That's exactly what happens with this Asimov denying robot Mr. Jeremy.
It's this Skynet all over again.
Yeah, Skynet's going to happen if you don't implement Asimov's rules.
That's right.
And so who else was here today? Sentai Ranger Donnie, of course, was here.
More phenomenal.
Tetrarch of Apathy. Let's see. Oh, a Penny. Penny, did you ever get through the DMV? We started a story with Penny.
Did you get your star, Penny, on your license? Your real
really
ID?
It makes more sense for the DMV to have a drive-through.
Yeah, I like the fact that they, I mean, I was able to, the last time I renewed my license online, but since I'm such an oldie Olsen, they told me I had to come in this recent time. But you can make an appointment, and you're done in 5 minutes. So I prefer that instead of waiting in these humongous lines and whatnot, not being able to even sit down. It's like outrageous. Poor Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never
definitely.
underestimate the interminable frustration of governmental bureaucracy.
Yeah, you got that.
Well, hopefully they get you through the second line a lot faster than the first line, Penny. But I want to thank FKHC 2005 for helping to support this channel, to encourage me to continue to create these reviews and have a good time talking to you about stories as I try to learn about good stories and what made the Purple Testament so good and what made Elegy not as good. It apparently it was confusingly written, and we're all baffled.
You got to go with the LeVar Burton reading Rainbow version of any of these reviews. It's like, but you don't have to take my word for it. It's only 25 minutes. Yeah. It's 25 minutes long. Check it out for yourself. If you disagree, don't forget to, put it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share. Tell some guy named Jeremy from an asteroid that wants to feed you.
We're all the better for knowing all of the opinions that are possible from this episode or any episode. And the super sticker is of a face that is smiling.
Nice.
And here's the random video that my wheel chose for FKHC.
I can think of no one better equipped to handle it, Miss Uhura.
Spock.
Well, no, it's the best person to handle the communication station is
Lieutenant Uhura.
her. Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
yes. And Spock doesn't, he doesn't just fluff you up. He's not just telling you. He's stating a fact.
This is true.
Oh.
Vulcans never lie.
Yeah, who told you that? Vulcan?
That's one of Scotty's favorite quotes.
Vulcans never bluff.
Oh, that's a whole live stream itself, that conversation.
Yeah.
-1. So -1 sent us support too.
He sends a buckaroo.
Thank you so much for the $1. Swift -1.
$1.
And so you the random wheel spun and it gave you this one.
Why are you afraid of flying?
Yeah,
And-
that's quite a sexy scene from Batman '89.
Oh yeah, it is. And yeah, when I saw that, I knew it had to be a super chat video. I thought it was fun. 25 minutes long. John Holmes says, "Hold my beer."
He dead.
He dead.
Which is
Yeah, you
why
can,
Spock never spoke of having a sister. Yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right. Patriarch of apathy.
Yeah, and you can watch Twilight Zone on Pluto TV or Freevee.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. And again, the episodes for next time are going to be Mirror Image and the monsters are due on Maple Street. And hopefully we will have Deej Odyssey guest star. So we're going to, that's all for now.
Hopefully,
And-
we'll have tiger stripes too.
Oh, that would be nice. I told her she's welcome. Anytime she sees an episode name she likes, she can plan to be there. So until next time, thank you again for everyone being amazing, insightful, and fun to talk to. I hope to see you again next Tuesday in the Twilight Zone.
Learn all that is learnable. And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
We don't have to be mean. Because, remember, no matter where you go, there you are.